Hey everybody, I'm just going through some thoughts in my mind about hormones and then the vitamins and the supplements and then how the hormones are elicited by pathogens and how the supplements are actually poisons out there. And then the whole thing with the lack of focus of antibodies. But yet we have people in the holistic field who are very concerned about autoimmunity and concerned about the thyroid, where it has antibodies that attack it. They're called SLE, which is a tribute to lupus, which is an autoimmune disorder. And there are anti-nuclear antibodies as well as antibodies, but anti-nuclear antibodies actually self-attack. They attack the body. So if Mercola or medical medium or any of these other famous holistic people are so concerned about people's health and how antibodies could potentially attack different systems, autoimmunity, why aren't they focusing on the antibody aspect of the titer tests, of the anti-vax, and even just getting those antibodies naturally, the natural immunity? Why aren't they focusing on that? It's because they are in the supplements world. Because I was looking at Mercola's website, and the reason why he came to my mind, because this guy Marcus Hines, who's a major anti-vaxxer, he's calling out Aaron from HealthNet News for giving out misinfo on statistics that weren't correct. And so he called her out. And then Joseph Mercola saw that I said, hey, when there's smoke, there's fire. Nice catch. And he laughed at that comment. I'm like, oh, Mr. Mercola, you want to laugh at my comment? Let's see what exactly you're putting out there to your community and what kind of hypocrisy you're doing here. And I know Aaron is his wife, and I get it. He's trying to be, trying to be the knight in shining armor and try to defend his wife even through an emoji, and I get it. But since you put yourself on my radar, let's study your contribution to the chaos in this world. So he has a lot of supplements, a lot. And not everybody does their research, not everybody knows how to Google stuff. And so I already said that vitamin supplements, A, B, C, D, E, and F, and G, are all poisons that induce hormones to then give you whatever relief, whatever your intention is. And so, I'm like, okay, here you go. Here is the evidence. And I've proved it in different ways, but I proved that antibodies, obviously, they do attack the body over time, create some mutations, and then there are some antibodies that are anti-nuclear antibodies that do actually turn into autoimmunity. Because why isn't everybody afflicted with some kind of autoimmune disorder? Well, because they didn't have that specific conglomeration of pathogens that then translated into an anti-nuclear antibody. However, taking hormones, or taking negative elements or antibiotic type things like supplements, which then elicits a hormone, those hormones get created from antibodies. And then you're also mixing in an environment of people who have autoimmune disorders, who reacted from a certain biochemical release that then translated into this. What was the backdoor triggers that didn't maybe trigger early on, but later on? So you don't know exactly what antibody is the one that then triggered, when all the conditions are right, to an actual autoimmune disorder. So why isn't he focusing on the antibody, the dangers of antibodies? Not just getting a titer test, which is one layer to help out the anti-vaxxers who are still peeling back the layers of programming. But really the focus on the antibody aspect of all cancer, disease, and chronic illness, and realize that is one of the three things out there. It's not just the candida. It's not just hormonal imbalance. It's the antibody that creates the hormonal imbalance. So all of his methods, his supplements, are all actually antibody inducing, that which then translates into hormones being created to then give you a positive or negative on your test of what you're deficient in. So with all these tests that the naturopathics are putting out there, they're all about hormone deficiencies. But then here's the thing, should you be inducing hormones to show that you need to be level in this? See, that's what these tests are in the naturopathic when they're testing to see what deficiencies you have. It's not in the nutrient deficiencies, no. It's actually in the hormone deficiencies. They're actually focusing on the hormones of your body. And then they do hormone replacement therapy. But how do they create these tests to then get a person to go into the doctor's office or the naturopathic office and get this kind of test that shows all the different deficiencies? Because they take in the hormones and put vitamins next to them, which is true. Nutrients does translate into how it keeps the hormones in balance. But it's not something that Dr. Mercola would know how to dose anybody. It's not something that Aaron from Health Nut News or Tenpenny or your chiropractor or a doctor or Live Strong or CVS can tell you that, oh, your test says that you're deficient in vitamin D, so here, go take a vitamin D pill, powder, or supplement. No, that's hormone replacement. That you're taking something like one condensed type of hormone, and you're going to throw the balance off your body. When someone doesn't have a thyroid and they're taking prescription drugs to then fulfill that hormone, yeah, they take enough to keep the balance. Not really, though, because the rest of the body is degrading. Because those types of hormone replacement therapies do actually create antibodies that attack the body. Okay? So this actually, I didn't even think about this when I just started this, but here, listening to myself, and I know there's a lot of people out there that take all of these naturopathic tests. Oh yeah, my naturopathic told me I was deficient in A, B, C, D, E, and F, and G. That's what these tests are testing for, is what hormones are present, what hormones are not, and then they create a story around these tests. So when you see numbers, now graphs and test results are based upon intention of the person giving the test, because the intention has to have an outcome of, well, if it shows that they are deficient in this hormone like vitamin D because of a mutation, well, it's going to show that on this test. And so the test algorithms, the programming in the test itself is based upon all of the if-then type of programs. That's basically programming. It's test programming, or it's computer programming. They have a program that can test for hormonal disturbances and deficiencies and what you name it. They have a test for it based upon the intention and what they want the outcome to be. What's the outcome? They want to sell you a supplement. So the only way they can give you documentation is if they create a program, a computer program that has an if-then type of equation, and then you give whatever, blood or something else, because your blood or your urine or whatever else is going to show what hormones are present. Okay, and so then they analyze your bodily fluids in some way. And then the test then has a printout, a readout based upon the program of the test. And then you're like, oh, and how they even position or create the actual test results is another selling point. Oh, it says that, I mean, just say, yeah, the average normal person should have this much vitamin D in their body for your age group, for your situation, for your mutation. I mean, I don't exactly know. I mean, I would love to now see a naturopathic test exactly, and I probably could Google it on the internet. but results are based upon the intention. And so if someone comes in with a problem and they take a test, and then the naturopathic does all their little magic with their computer program, and it comes out that, oh yeah, you have very low numbers in vitamin D, which is basically a hormone. Okay. They're like, okay, so you're feeling it this kind of way. Well, let's see if we need to bring up your levels of vitamin D. And that's how they then sell the public, because they have a computer program from biotech based upon intention, analyzing your bodily fluids to see what hormones are present, and they slap it a name called vitamin A, B, C, and D, because yes, they are correct. All those different vitamins in like cabbage and kale are present, and minerals, but you get prescribed a condensed version of one of those nutrients, but it's not, it's synthetic with other stuff added to it. It's actually, when you're taking a pure hormone, it's poison. It's because what it is you're taking an antigen that elicits that hormone, because anything that elicits a hormone coming to surface is because of the body in some kind of dire straits. It's under stress. So when a naturopathic is taking tests to then try to prescribe you a hormone, they are now putting your body under more duress, under more stress. So I would like Mr. Mercola to justify all of his pills, powders, and supplements, and how he can claim that playing with people's hormones is healthy, is really the answer. Because forget his anti-pro-vax stance, that doesn't even matter. Now let's see you justify the supplements side of it, because it's all about hormones. And you know, and he knows that hormone imbalances is what causes death in our society. People die from hormonal imbalances along with candida, as well as too many natural killer cells, autoimmunity. So, you know, and I'm sure I'm not saying he's going to answer me, but they have, just like the pro-vax people, you know, they have very fancy scientific language that the lay person who doesn't really understand the stuff will be dazzled by the answer. Because if you come from the standpoint that you need to be balancing your hormones with prescription drugs or supplements, you're going to think that what he's saying is so that, oh, if I feel tired, it means I'm vitamin D deficient. I need to take some vitamin D. Oh, I need to go sun gazing. I need to do this. When you want to elicit a hormone, you really shouldn't be eliciting any hormones. I mean, you have enough to keep you level because you need a certain amount of hormones. And that's based upon other factors that are keeping the balance. When you start feeling any kind of way where you're feeling symptoms, not only is it a hormone imbalance, but you have a mutation that caused that hormonal imbalance. Where did that mutation came from? It came from an antibody. Antibody, mutation, hormonal imbalance. So Mercola is just trying to take care of the symptoms from that antibody that turned into a mutation that created this hormonal imbalance with another hormone. He's not even acknowledging the antibody aspect that caused then the mutation to begin with. But then he said, oh yeah, we're going to, now you need nutrition. So you have these supplements, and now do the vegan, vegetarian, the keto diet, and the probiotic supplements. I mean, it's such a deception out there. So I would love all of these naturopathics that are playing in the supplements market to justify why they would be prescribing their patients hormone replacement therapy. That all the tests that they're doing on their patients is measuring hormone levels, and then they paint it as vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin D, vitamin B6, vitamin B12, vitamin whatever, vitamin E. Okay, I would love for them to justify why they do slap those names, vitamins, on actual poisons that cause mutations that then elicit a hormone. Now it makes you wonder, you're taking a poison to elicit a hormone, what system is being attacked to elicit that hormone? Yeah, your endocrine system. I mean, you figure out where all your hormone releases are, pituitary gland, all the different parts of your body, those are being attacked by the supplements market and the detoxes and all of the powders, the shakes, the MLMs, the essential oils, all of that. So it's very fascinating. So yeah, the system is now coming down here with all this information that we have been discovering together. The system is unraveling. Given that we have Facebook, we're able to actually now look at the behaviors, the words, we're able to take apart and look behind the deception and figure out what the intention and the outcome and the specific measurable results. Joseph Mercola is also balding, and that is a mutation in of itself. That is a hormonal imbalance. There's a mutation in his integumentary system, which is the hair, skin, and nails. So I don't even want to I'm not trying to attack anyone's looks, but I'm also showing you that when you have lack of hair on your head, it means that something is going on. There's a malfunction and misfiring. I mean, we people have mutations all the time, and they can still work with their mutations. Doesn't mean that their body is in 100% pristine. No, I mean, I was able to somewhat function with my PMDD. Doesn't mean I had quality of life. So, just because somebody's able to work with their mutations and sound relatively intelligent based upon the intention and their training, because that's another way to know somebody, is to have all this advanced training in academia with big college words, lingo. And so, yeah, the person who hasn't studied that area of industry is going to think that they're God because they're bringing something that they've never studied. Well, yeah, you got to pay money to then be trained by an industry that does make money. So, yeah, if you're not at all doing your own research and recognizing keywords and understanding the deception behind different words for the same thing, then you're going to be falling for these said professionals who parade around with their degrees as if it was a badge. No, he was trained by an industry that knows that most of the population do not do a lot more research than just reading a few 2-second headlines. They don't realize that vitamin A, B, C, and D in these supplements are actually poisons that cause mutations that then create hormones. But they call it vitamin A, B, C, and D, and E because they were told that you need to have your vitamin A and vitamin B. Yeah, I mean, if you're going to label and compartmentalize all the nutrients your body needs and all the different hormones that your body needs, well, the system is not going to call it hormones because the system is going to base it on the intention. The way they write and the way they advertise managing symptoms in the healthcare industry, they have to create a totally different world. They have to create a paradigm. And then they train us from a very small kid. I mean, my parents in biotech, they gave me vitamin C every winter time. Did they not? And it was ascorbic acid. It wasn't like oranges or anything. We weren't drinking orange juice, which I can understand. It's a lot of sugar. But we were taking vitamin C every single day during the wintertime. That's a hormone replacement therapy. That obviously caused an imbalance. And I was sick. It didn't help me, but hey, they were told, give vitamin C to your kids. So, yeah, so we were trained at a very young age in school and from our parents who were trained by the system to compartmentalize the vitamins that are in the fruits and vegetables. And the lazy way of getting those said vitamins, which are actually hormones, to then control the person in some way, is buying the product from biotech. Instead of learning about how the body actually synthesizes the fruits and the vegetables and how you bring in other minerals and electrolytes. So the biotech and the system have compartmentalized all the good things that your body needs, and then they use it based upon their intention. So the system knows about electrolytes and the salt and a little bit of the sugar, so they put that in B. Braun Maga IV bags when someone is completely like dehydrated or cattywampus and they need stabilization. They have those bags in the hospitals, and damn, you have to pay for that too. It's not for free. But no, that information isn't readily available in school to say, hey, you don't have to go to the hospital or the ER to get rehydrated or stabilized. You can actually create your own electrolytes at home. And then, but they call the electrolytes at home Gatorade. They call it sugar and all of those other colorings and the flavors. Oh yeah, Pedialyte. So, yeah, Gatorade. I mean, lemon, the flavors they have is not even real stuff. I mean, we don't ferment oranges. We're not fermenting fruit. You can create your own electrolytes at home, but no, we don't learn that in school. The system makes sure you don't know how to put it all together. I'm guessing because I can't imagine that someone like us can figure out all the things that kept us alive, and why not put it together? So everything is, what is it called? Functional silos. That's what's going on. And I learned through my organizational development class that it is about business process reengineering and then having cross-functional communication between these functional silos to then have finally a working organism with an intention and a very specific outcome. You know, the medical industry compartmentalizes all this good information so then they can make money off of being the hero of the day. Oh yeah, every time, this guy was saying, every time I go to the hospital, I get stabilized. Why can't I do that at home? What are they doing at the hospital that I don't know about? It's electrolytes. You are lacking in electrolytes. That's what they're doing. If they told you you can do this at home, they wouldn't have a business. So then, then you have the holistic industry just slapping vitamin names on all the nutrients of your body and then doing tests to see what hormones are present or deficient in their eyes. Because that's the intention. They want you to induce hormones. They want you to have a lot of libido. They want you to increase your libido because that's what is normal out in our society. So when your test comes up that you are, deficient in one of these hormones, they're going to give you something to induce that hormone. But that's the intention of the industry, is to induce hormones. But they don't want to call it that because that's a little bit like, does not create hormone. That's hormone replacement therapy. That's hormone therapy. It can create hormone imbalances, and then also, the mutations and the degradation of the body. So I would love Mercola or medical medium or any of those fancy naturopathics that are famous, Dr. Tenpenny. I would love for them to justify why bringing up hormones and playing with hormone replacement therapy is beneficial to the human body, considering that they're all aging. Every single one of them. Why hasn't his hormone replacement therapy fixed the balding on his head? Or does he call that like a permanent genetic mutation? And that's where the other thing comes in. Oh yeah, it's in my genes, it's permanent. Epigenetics is huge. Gene editing is huge. And of course, playing with the hormone replacement therapies, which is all the pills, powders, and supplements, doesn't help your body regenerate your integumentary system so it actually can work the way it's supposed to, growing some hair on your head. It's protection. Hair is protection. If you're balding, then you have a mutation. Or someone said a parasite in the hair follicles. So, yeah. All right, very good. I needed to get that out and practice that focus. This information is mind-boggling. It's like, it's a whole lot. It's a lot. But the more that you guys listen to my videos, I do a lot of redundancy. And so that way, even if I say it this way, you may not get it, but I'll say it this way, you actually might get it and make the connections based upon your understanding and apply your own life to it, your own experiences. Okay, so that's how you own this information, is when you can actually take it and apply it where you see it in your life and what you've experienced when you went to a naturopathic and they did these tests. Now you can go back to your files to look at the naturopathic test to see exactly, because anybody can name the amount of chemicals or something in your blood. They can name it a hormone, they can name it a vitamin. You can put all different types of names in Excel based upon the intention. Computer programming is amazing. You can create any type of, you can create a perception. Computer programming is amazing because you can create any perception as long as you have all the factors that you're working with and you know what they are. And biotech, they have computer models that do that. That's how they're able to do the protein docking computer models, to figure out what proteins, bacteria can then dock to specific cells in the body, like yeast or different organs and systems. You got yeast, which is what your body has, that are in different parts of your 11 different systems. And then they do a computer model to figure out what pathogen, when a pathogen is able to dock to that specific yeast, like in your reproductive system, what would then be the potential outcome when it finally is able to dock to that cell? And then how does the mutation manifest in the actual human? And then they do tests on mice, and they do tests on rabbits and cats and animals, and then eventually on people. Those are the mad scientists in our society, and Mercola is just one of the faces of that industry. It's kind of mind-boggling what you actually figure out once you can get your head clear and you're healed and sealed. So anyways, that's it. All right, bye.